Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 681st episode of the Geekverse podcast, aka the Wake Up Dad Man, aka a Knives Out Story review. I am the heretic, Tress Nail, and I'm joined by.
I'm the Scooby-Doo Taylor Field.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here doing this again. We did this, I can't remember when Knives Out 2, or I am one of those people that obviously we kind of make fun of titles like Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, Ballerina, John Wick World Tour, whatnot. I get why they do that with Knives Out. I am super guilty of, I just call all these still like Glass Onions Knives Out 2, and this is still Knives Out 3. So I'm very guilty of that. So if you hear me refer to that many times, I apologize. I tried my best. Sorry, Rian Johnson, but we can only do so much. But yeah, we did this a couple of years ago whenever Glass Onion came out, that we did get it early. As I've said before, where we
22.
live. 22. Okay, so 3 years ago now. Yeah, what we get for Netflix is all over the place. Like, I was super surprised we got Frankenstein. We got Frankenstein. It was only out for 3 weeks. We got the second week, but still we got it. And then we got like that Rebecca Ferguson terrorist movie that played for a long time. And every time I would check, I would see like one person in some of these showings. Sometimes never. But then there's some things like The Killer, other stuff. I don't know if we're going to get the Stranger Things finale. So it's all over. But like it was a couple of years ago, here we are again, where we got a Wake Up Dead Man review here, or I guess a screening. So we are going to be reviewing it. If people are wondering, because even I think I was on like Patreon Clay, like he lives in a bigger city than us, and he doesn't even, I don't think he's got it. And even Katie from GWA, she's looking for screens. She didn't get it. So kind of, I would love to know their like marketing tactics to like Katie and Clay, who live in these bigger cities, versus us, who's much smaller city than them, and weekend they don't. I really don't know with Netflix. They're all over. So that's why we are going to do two versions of this, where right now this episode is just purely the non-spoilers. If you listen on audio on YouTube, we will put a spoilers version up, because that's early, and sometimes those do a bit better of our early reviews on YouTube that are spoilers, because people have seen them and they're seeking those out. Different algorithms, right? So if you really want to, it will be on YouTube within the 24 hours. So if you've seen the movie, go check that out. If not, we will drop the second part of this episode, half of it, in December. I think it's December 2nd or 5th, or whenever it comes out on Netflix. We'll drop that same day. So we're going to do 25, 30 minutes, somewhere around there, of complete non-spoilers, overall thoughts. So if you want our opinion and don't want to get spoiled on any of the reveals or the cameos or like the obviously revelation, we're not going to do any of that. So don't worry. And if it is, we're not live, so we can, chop anything out. But Taylor Field, give a brief history of your, thoughts on the Knives Out history, or Knives Out franchise, your history on the franchise, not your history on history, your thoughts on the franchise, and then you can streamline into what you thought about Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my history with this just kind of goes back to, I guess, just kind of joining the bandwagon with you guys all being like hyped for it. I have to go back and listen to the episodes of where I was when that first movie came out.
I wasn't on that first review, so I wasn't on that bandwagon.
I don't remember if I was on it, to be honest. I feel like Dylan Spear, like,
Dylan and Amber were on that review. Okay, here we go. So this was 2019. No, 19. I feel like this is you. The title is Knives Out Review, Rian Johnson Strikes Back. I feel like, maybe not. Okay.
No, that doesn't seem like something I do.
Yeah, I thought it might be, but maybe that'd be more on the thumbnail, not on the title. That episode was actually just Kirkland and Dylan. So there you go. And I can't remember. That was 2019. So I guess what? So I had Logan born November. So I was probably in the time where I was being picky and choosy with what I was seeing. I don't know what you were up to. But yeah, so you and me were not on that first Knives Out review. We were on the second with you, me, and Dylan. So
I remember that one. Yeah.
We weren't there for the original,
Was the original also theatrical here?
That was just pure theatrical, and then Netflix did the thing where they bought it for 2 and 3, and I think 4 is being talked about right now. I think they're going to wait and see the reception and like any money or views this one does, obviously. So
right. Well, yeah. I just watching that first one, I really, really liked it when I got around to watching it. It was a really, really good time, and yeah, it's just something that. These whodunit kind of movies I do enjoy, but not all the time are they done very well. If you look at like Murder on the Orient Express or Death on the Nile, or even there's a third one, which is like Murder in the House.
There's other ones you can name, but I love it's just that franchise. That franchise is awful, But.
It is, but I feel like it was just kind of like consistent and like at the same time as this one.
Yeah, and it's comparable. Big cast, and you got Kenneth Branagh doing the whole.
Yeah,
thing. I've still never seen a single one of those. So at some point I'll have to dive in, but not today.
Yeah, not today. It's again, it has to be done good. And one of the things that I liked about Knives Out, and maybe it's present in that first one, it's more present in the second one. I feel like they dial it back a little bit in this one. Which I'm happy with, but he has this innocence to him where he's a very cute character as a detective, and I really, really like that. And there's just a real good blend in these movies where you have the serious notes and then the comedic beats to it too, and just these really extra flamboyant personality types, and them just like really, here's your character, but like bump it up to a 10, and so like really just run with it. And so I really like how you get that yeah, from each different character, because each different character that you get in these movies, they're all very, very different, and they play their, I don't want to say stereotype, because they're not even stereotypes, they're just very
They sometimes are.
eccentric.
There's sometimes they're a stereotype.
Yeah, but it just feels like yesterday we watched Glass Onion, and that one is definitely I will say that now, it's my least favorite of these so far.
Okay. So even after the third.
After
Okay.
it definitely felt more like it was in tune with the first one. And there's a few other things I'll say when we continue into the non-spoilers about that third one. But yeah, the second one just felt a little bit too grandiose for my liking. I liked the small scale aspect of it. And so that's where I'd put the third one, or the second one, kind of at the bottom of the barrel here. And again, it's a little excessively comedic and clumsy, silly, if that makes sense. Like, it's just a little bit too much, but I have to rewatch it, and I'd like to rewatch.
I thought you said you just rewatched Glass Onion.
When did I say that?
You did a second ago. I thought you said you just rewatched it, but maybe not.
I'd have to rewatch it.
Okay, maybe I heard that. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I have to rewatch it, and I'd have to watch the first one again too, just to kind of like re-feel how I am on those movies. But I just remember having that first movie in a really good standing in my mind, and just having a real good impression with it. So that's the one that I'm gonna have to bump up the queue here soon and revisit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about this one?
Oh, this one was great. Yeah, this was an absolute treat. And like we chatted about briefly, like, it definitely is longer than the other ones, and there is a bit of a slow burn in a period of this movie, but I feel like it does a good job at kind of paying off. I was really happy with the way things kind of concluded in this movie, and yeah, I think that they did a pretty good job with it. It was something that yeah, it was something that was an interesting story, and it was told in a different way from the other films too, which I kind of liked as well. And the way that they kind of like circled back, I guess, is how I would put it. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Kinda. Anything else off the top there?
No, I'll save it for spoilers.
Well, still got some other stuff to talk about.
Or non-spoilers. Save it for non-spoilers.
Well, wait, no, we're in spoilers now. We're in non-spoilers now. Don't worry, people. The no spoilers. Don't let Tara scare you. So yeah, my history is I don't remember why I didn't see the first one. I think I liked all the trailers enough, but saw it later after the fact. I think it's one that I've liked more as time has gone on, because I think the first time people really just talked up as like, this is best movie of the year, best this, best that, and even like, oh, best Rian Johnson movie, which I disagree with still. Like, so they talked up it. So I think when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that was good, like really good. Actually, I'll say it was really good, but not to me best movie of the year. People were talking about for Oscars. I don't know, like I can't really get on board with that, but I saw it and I watched again. I think yesterday, maybe for the third time, maybe second, but I feel like it's the third time. I feel like there's been another time. And I do think it gets better and better with a rewatch. I still, like I said, don't think it's Johnson's best movie. I still don't have it up there as like one of the all-time greats for me, but I understand why people do. I think Daniel Craig is always great in these roles, right? And even this one, to spoil some thoughts, like if they do a fourth one or a fifth one, I will be there, because Benoit Blanc he's a fun character, right? And it's definitely fun to see Daniel Craig in this light. Obviously, Bond is over now, but that was always the fun thing, going back and forth between between that, right? If it getting like the hard edge Bond and then getting this very kind of, goofy, but not in a dumb sense, which is kind of goofy, a little more lighthearted detective who does have a serious side, but nowhere near as, James Bond 007. So that was always fun. And he's great in this. Like he's great in the other ones. It's kind of like a non sequitur, right? Like I feel like anytime he's going to be in these, he's going to deliver. So really enjoyed the first one. I agree with like everyone that has this take as far as the first one is better than the second one, but I don't have the big drop off. Like I think for Taylor it's a big drop off, and I see other people when I looked at Letterboxd again today, I was like, okay, some people went from like a 4 to like a 2. Like I'm Knives Out to me is like on a Letterboxd like a 4.5. I think it's more like an 8.5 in the ranking wise, but for Knives or Glass Onion to me it's like a 7.5. Like it's a bit of a drop off, but not as much. And that's where it's interesting with this movie, where I'll say that this is my least favorite of the trilogy. So, and I think they're still all good, but I think what's interesting is Knives Out is like a big blend. I feel like there's lots of drama and then lots of comedy, right? It feels like a split. Where I think you're right. Glass Onion is way more on the comedic side. It's way more on the stereotypical side. You have very comedic characters between Norden and Kate Hudson, and like there's just a very jovial type of movie, even though there's like a mystery going on, right? So you got that going on. Where this, I think, is this still has humor. I think it starts to lose humor as it goes on. But this definitely feels the most serious out of the three. Like it feels like it does hit on the Knives Out, but Wake Up Dead Man at times you're going for a stretch where there's no laughs, especially near the. And I know they do the revelations, but even if you look at Glass Onion, when Benoit Blanc's doing the whole revelation speech, there's that Kate Hudson meme of like, oh, like when he's like, oh, it's so dumb. She's like, yeah, but it's so dumb, it's so smart. He's like, no, it's just dumb. Like there's even moments there where in this revelation, there's like one moment that is very funny, but it's very serious. Lots of stuff going on. And it might be, I wonder, just because they're tackling religion and faith, if that's why Johnson wanted to take that approach of, okay, we're not going to have it as funny. There's going to be, which I appreciate in this movie, there's spiritual stuff, but it didn't feel preachy either way. It didn't feel preachy for people that aren't into religion, and didn't feel preachy for people that are. It had their two characters, which would be Josh O'Connor and then Daniel Craig, that are kind of cemented in where they are in a faith-based thing. And that's another thing I'll say with this is, I'll be very curious, especially someone, I think you'll still enjoy it, but someone like Maddie who loves Daniel Craig, it's tough because this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes, so it is very long, but there is very long, like, I want to say this movie feels like the least Benoit Blanc is in it, but it is almost 2.5 hours, right? So it kind of makes up for that. But there's long stretches where Daniel Craig is not on screen at all. He's not even in the equation, especially like in just in Myers-Briggs. The setup of this film, setup takes a long time to get going to like the actual event. And each movie, like Ana de Armas is in the first one, and then I can't remember her name, but she was I can't remember the actress name. I'll look it up. But in each movie, he's the lead, but he kind of has like a co-lead right there with him, and they're also like always the innocent person. So we have that again with Josh O'Connor, where he's the co-lead, but at times he feels like he's the lead of the movie. He doesn't even feel like he's the co-lead. It feels like it's his movie. So I'm wondering how people are gonna take to that, because there's long times where he is just on screen and there's no Daniel Craig whatsoever. He's not factored in the plot. So it was an interesting take. I think they did a great job with the people they chose for the most part. I think it is just a bit too long, and I think it was never convoluted in the sense that I didn't understand. It just was convoluted in the sense of they do a lot of twists and turns. I feel like it's like, Taylor, you ever been on the teacup ride? You guys went to Disneyland a couple years ago, right?
Oh, I know the one.
So I think there's always a point where you're having a fun time spinning, and then you get to that point where, you know what, we've spanned for too much. And I was kind of feeling that at the back half, where I just understood everything they were feeling, like giving me, but it's just like now I feel like it's almost one too many twists. It just feels like it's like too much birthday. It's like, hey, I get it. Let's get to this point. And I think there's some stuff that's like a big leap. It's definitely the most. When people make the jokes about Batman, or even when Glass Onion, I feel like lots of people thought like, oh, Benoit Blanc is just like God tier. He can figure everything else. There's multiple things that just have to luckily fall in place for Benoit to get through this, to like figure it out and for it to happen. So even though they make the Scooby-Doo joke, it does feel the most far-fetched one to me. And there's some stuff that's very, very, I won't say over the top, but way more or not within the realm of belief of this world. There's a lot of jumping through hoops to me that was maybe one too many. Maybe would have felt like that if they shortened it. I don't know, but no, I think performances are all good. I think there's some people we'll talk about in the non-spoilers here with casting wise that I was disappointed by. I kind of had that too with Glass Onion. I think Knives Out is the perfect movie as far as giving all those characters a moment to shine. Where I think both Glass Onion and this movie kind of forget about some characters. I feel like we learn nothing about them, and like for I guess one spot till I throw it out Taylor, Kaylee Spaney. I could not believe that. No one's bad in this movie, but I was shocked by this character as far as like it just didn't feel like there was much for it. It felt like it could have been any actress. Like she just came up Alien Romulus. She was in Priscilla. Like she's a big up and comer, and this role just didn't feel that special. You know, I feel even Andrew Scott, which I'm a big fan of. I loved him in not so much the James Bond movies, but I love him in a lot of things. I can't remember that movie he did last year, Paul Mescal, but I loved him in Fleabag. Like I love Andrew Scott, and he's a fun character, but it just feels like for a 2-hour, 20-minute movie, I thought, oh, we're gonna get a lot of time with a lot of these characters, and we really, not really don't, but even Tom St. Church, like I like Tom St., but it feels like it just, we some of these roles, maybe they're not getting paid that much, but some of these roles, I feel like you could just get no names and it would pretty much be the same, right? So I don't know, but yeah, how did you feel about some of these? As we talk about some of the non-spoiler stuff, how about some of these characters? Because you got Josh O'Connor there, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Thomas St. Church. There's one other person I won't mention because I think it might be a spoiler. I didn't see that second trailer. That second trailer, did they reveal the actor that's in like the first 5 minutes of this movie? He's in a lot of movies we cover. I'll just say he's in the Batman. That will clear it. That actor that's in the Batman.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know he was in
trailers. So I won't say who it is, but I think there's a couple fun surprises in here. But yeah, what do you think for the cast that was announced and shown? What do you think? Was there anyone particular person that stood out to you?
Thomas Hayden Church. I think is it called Daddy's Home? Is that the one with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg?
Yes, it is.
Because he's in there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's in there.
What's he doing in that movie?
Let me just confirm. I could be getting it wrong. Is he in that?
Is he Sandman and he's sideways?
Yeah, he plays Leo. So I'm pretty sure he plays like Will Ferrell's boss in that movie, and he's so freaking funny. He's just giving Will Ferrell just like information and advice. It was so freaking funny. I need to revisit that movie. Anyways, so whenever I see him in a role, I usually just start to crack up because I find him very funny. How he's just so serious and he's just got this comedic kind of gag to him. Also shout outs to his Tarzan days. Or not George's Jungle.
Oh, George's Jungle. He's great in George's Jungle. He delivered so big. Yeah.
But yeah, Jeremy Renner knew that he was in here, and his that character he plays, good timing. That character he plays is such it was really just quirky, and it was making me laugh because I don't think I've ever seen that actor do this kind of a role before. So that was interesting. And then, Josh Brolin just was popping off. Everything with him was really good too.
I have him in Golden Geeks, I think, for sure. Maybe there's some other people, but Brolin for sure. I think he was. There's two. I think for me, Brolin and Glenn Close. Glenn Close was really good as well. Those to me are kind of the. And even Josh O'Connor. I'm not even thinking about him because did you ever see Challengers? Was Zendaya in the tennis movie?
I did.
Yeah, he's the other lead in that. He's the guy. He's like one of the three there, and I liked him a lot. In that he was like the breakout star, and he's in Spielberg's UFO movie next year as well too. I think he's the lead with Emily Blunt. So I will say that, maybe I'm discounting it. Glenn Close was great in this. Josh Brolin, like Taylor said, was great, but Josh O'Connor, who's sometimes the lead, he's fantastic. He has like a very honest charm about him. He's very good at. He's not playing an everyday guy per se, but but an everyday, almost funny, sarcastic guy. I still think there's some gravitas to his performance, so it's not like a Tom Hanks sort of deal. But man, he's really good. Like I like obviously after challenges he got scooped up, but I can see like this, and now I'm looking more forward to him and Spielberg. Like he's becoming a really good, not becoming, but he's just becoming an actor now. When I see his name, I think now with challengers and this, I'll be excited. Like this gets me more excited for that Spielberg movie now, knowing he's one of the leads, because I just think he's shaped up to be a really good actor. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the other thing too. Like you highlighted the amount of screen time and development we get with these characters, and I feel like Knives Out, when you look at that first one, it's name dropping like out the wazoo, all of these big names and folks that are a part of this project, and you get that time with each one and their motives and their the pros and cons list, and you get to go on this journey with Blanc and just kind of learn more about it. And then Glass Onion, you get that, I guess, with those characters, but I wasn't as engaged with those characters in the same way I was with the first
Watching
one.
it again, though, I think there's a couple characters you don't, though. I think there's a couple characters they just kind of leave to the side. And even like this, like, even though it's not like a big role, like why is Mila Kunis the cop? Like that could have been anybody.
That
right?
was definitely out of place, I'd say.
Like it's just you get this actress that again I'm get your bag, do whatever, and it's fun. I'm not saying she was bad. No one in those movies bad. I just thought like, okay, Mila Kunis, multiple leading movies, 70s show, like probably gonna be a big meaty role. It's not really, it's just she's just kind of there as a cop. And there's a couple other performances I won't dive too much more into because I don't want to say the particular actor's name in case of spoilers. But yeah, it just feels like they're just kind of there. So that was one that I was surprised by, kind of the, I don't know, limited amount of time that person was around for. But it's still good to see him. So
No, that's true. Yeah, she definitely was just kind of a little odd being in there though, but you're right, everyone delivered, and I really enjoyed everyone's performances in this movie, but it was just, there was not enough real focus on everybody. That would be probably one of my only cons here, is just not having the time with every character. And that's where I think they did things differently. I don't think it's a spoiler, but the way that the main character is narrating as well, I think that kind of makes them more of the main character than Blanc is too.
Well,
so
like it's a minor spoilers, but multiple characters narrate in the movie at times, so that's where it feels not like Blanc for the like this is the most of me he's ever felt like he's just kind of there, which is fine because like it's the other people's stories. But yeah, it's strange. I was looking up because I had to confirm this, that I think he was the you're talking about Thomas Hayden Church. He was the only one that came back for George of the Jungle 2, which was a straight to DVD movie. So there you go, you got that. But what's funny is when I looked at this cast, Julie Benz, aka the woman who played Reed on Dexter, she played Ursula in the straight to DVD George of the Jungle sequel. So
was that right?
yeah, so I was just looking at photos and whatnot because I remember seeing it at some point. Oh, was it a Disney? It was a Disney Channel movie, maybe, I don't know, but I remember seeing it, and it was just odd that no one came back, or like, oh yeah, everybody didn't come back except for Thomas Hayden Church. He just was happy to come back to do George's Jungle 2, I guess. But get money where you can. But yeah, no, I think I already said while Tara's talking, my standouts would be and Craig's always included, but yeah, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, and Brolin. But those are three that I definitely, the other two Geeks Watches enjoyed. I would be fighting for them in Golden Geeks in certain performances. I thought they're all great, all outstanding, lots of variety there, and yeah, Brolin did a very good job. Everyone knows who he's playing, and man, it's so funny because we were just talking about in October, like rewatching Midnight Mass. It's nowhere like that, but it's just it was funny. It's like a small island with a monster who's like, a little shady, a little questionable. Not.
That's exactly what I was feeling too.
Yeah, don't worry, there's no supernatural elements in this, but yeah, no. So I think for the most part, like, and the rest of the cast was good. I think there's just some limitations, and I think there's multiple characters, as I listed some, and some other ones I won't speak about, that I just go, I feel like we could have got a little bit more. I do think that there's some really good scenery in this, but I also think there's a lot of odd CGI. Like I could be wrong. This is a big spoiler, but at one point, Josh O'Connor at the beginning of this movie, he's sitting down, he's talking to three priests. That whole set looked like CGI, right? Like with the windows behind them and everything. Like it did not
It
look.
did.
It did
Didn't
not
look
look
like a
real.
real gym, I'll
Yeah, there's a
say.
point where Dylan Craig, Daniel Craig, and Josh O'Connor are talking in the woods, and they have these trees behind them. That also, again, did not look like. So that was something that kind of threw me off guard. Was both the first Knives Out and then Glass Onion. To me, those all were looked like on practical sets, and this was a little bit different because it was a bigger island. So I get there's maybe some CGI you have to do, but there's a few things that just stood out. I guess that's where I could say like I think there are some good shots, but I don't know. I don't think it compares to the first one. Glass Onion, I'd have to think about, but I think there was even more shots or visuals there that worked for me. Like there was, I think there's only a couple times like, oh, that's a really cool shot, but there was nothing that really stood out like, wow, that's something I'm gonna fight for in best visuals at the end of the year or anything like that, right? So
Hmm.
again, still like looks good. Nothing looks bad other than like I said, some CG maybe a little questionable, but yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else non-spoilers I can bring up. Uh, but I don't think so. So
Well, I was because you highlighted it a little bit there, but just to expand on it, this definitely felt the most horror vibes out of all of them, and
absolutely,
I really
yes.
liked that. I thought that was a really nice twist too, and
Hmm.
especially just the way things went in the story. I'd say like we're starting the third act now when they're starting to get really really into it, and it's like, well, how do you explain this? And they were. I was convinced. I don't want to say convinced, but like it was getting very spooky and whatnot. And I really, really liked that. It was cool. And you get some cool things. Like, I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but there's just a tub. I'll just leave it at that. And it's like, oh, this is a cool set that they kind of got going on here and whatnot. So I like what they were going for.
Yeah, I did too. It's definitely the dark. Like we already talked about it, I think for me, like it's the least funniest, which on purpose, not in a way where they're doing a bunch of jokes and they're not hitting. I think on purpose they're making it this way. I think it's something that, like Taylor does say, I think it dives more into the darker, more horror side. I think there's something in the third act that I really don't like that I think was kind of a kind of cheap, I'll say, and I'll say that for spoilers, but something that I felt was like, okay, I don't know if this works, but yeah, I think I will because also we were doing this non-spoilers. I think I will give this a 7 out of 10 for me. Obviously, in spoilers, I'll expand and explain more of those reasons, but a 7 out of 10 that I enjoyed this. Definitely, I think a little too long. Definitely some choices that I think the length and also just the explanations. Not that nothing didn't work, but eventually just felt maybe a little convoluted. They still work, but just sometimes, as I said earlier, a lot of jumping through loops. Still enjoyed the cast, still enjoyed those four players I talked about, and I still will enjoy more Knives Out stories if we get them. But yeah, for me, it's a 7 to 10. I think it would be, like I said, as of right now, as I just watched the first two, would be my weakest of the trilogy. Maybe I'll sit with it, but even though like someone like Josh Connor does a great performance with the story that his character goes on. But yeah, that's where I am right now is a 7 out of 10. What about you, Taylor?
Ooh, I think the only real con for me was just the longevity of it and a bit of like a slow burn kind of in the middle of the film, I'd say. So, but that being said, like I like the characters a lot. Well, actually, no. The other con too is that we didn't get to spend enough time with the characters and their stories as opposed to the previous iterations
Mm.
of the series. So that's another bummer for me. But and I say this now without having gone back and watched Glass Onion for a bit, so I need to go back and do that, and maybe that'll make my rating change. But tentatively right now, I'm gonna say, did I cut out?
I don't
Did I
know
cut
if it was
out?
you or me. I
Oh, I don't know if it was you or me either. Yeah, I'm gonna say it was me. Um,
I didn't hear your number
so
though
train
if
of
you
thought.
dropped it. So
I didn't drop my number. No, no.
okay.
In retrospect, like my number, what I would base it off of now is just I have to go back and rewatch that first one and watch Glass Onion. But tentatively, right now, I'm just gonna say, okay, this is gonna be like an 8.5 out of 10, and it's above Glass Onion for me. So
Okay.
that's where I stand.
There we go. So, well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for this episode. Obviously, just a short one because it's just on spoilers. So, let us know if you've seen it, what you thought. If you have any questions, obviously, you can hit us up in the Discord and we'll answer them in a non-spoiler way. And then if you don't want to obviously hear anything else and want our expanded thoughts, we will talk about the spoilers and in full detail of what we enjoyed and liked and maybe had some issues with. But I think we both recommend it if you go to theaters. I think there's some stuff that's good in there. It wasn't too full, but it was fun to see it with a semi crowd with some laughs and whatnot. But yeah, until next time, promise you it'll not be boring.